Hello and welcome everyone to Zombie Go Month. We are the third week of Zombie Go Month where we are looking over at games that have a very specific theme. This theme is stones that are supposedly dead coming back to life to kill, annoy, otherwise be zombie-ish to their opponents. Now, first game that we saw was very, very sad. It featured zombies coming back to life and eating someone's face. Quite sad, quite sad. Second week, we saw a game where we found out how to defeat zombies, and that was through the use of Ko. Just like 4 Ko back to back seems to kill zombies. That was great. Loved it. This time, we are going to see how Lee Sedol decides to tackle the zombie problem. Because everyone seems to have their own little unique way of handling it. We will also be having, of course, one more week of Zombie Month next week, so make sure you also tune in for that. I have a slight confession. I'm going to be a little bit happy when this month is over, because I've had to go through anywhere between 100 to 150 game records so far to find games for this month. Turns out there aren't a lot of professional games that feature dead stones coming back to life and doing horrible things. Usually they're very good at either keeping something dead or not trying to kill it in the first place. Unbeknownst to me, when I picked this particular theme, it's a little bit difficult. It's a little bit difficult to find something. So yeah, I'm gonna be happy next month when I can just like go back to like the usual and just have a theme that's easy to do. Oh, I can't wait for that. I can't wait for it. I can't wait for it. I do also want to go ahead and throw a quick shout out to the supporters on Patreon. We are about, as of the recording of this video, what is it? I don't know. I don't know the exact number. I'm sorry. But we're very, very close to our next goal on Patreon, where I remove all of my advertisements on my videos. My Go videos will have no more ads on them. Almost to that goal, so that's gonna be fun to do. So here we have 2 games by Lee Sedol. Lee Sedol in both of them is black, which is why I put his name on there. Don't have white because white changes, I think. Yes. In this game, I will go ahead and tell you that Lee Sedol, as a professional 3-dan from the year 2000, has anybody been playing Go since 2000? Because I know I have. But has anybody else? Rukus was 4. Okay, Rukus, have you been playing? You weren't playing Go as a 4-year-old? Oh my God, your parents didn't love you. Anybody else? Has anybody else been playing Go since 2000? Am I seriously the only one? Alright. Go Little in the chat says he's been playing for 25 years. Way to go, man. Uru-sama has been playing. Alright. Uru-sama has been playing since 2000. Good. I'm not the only one. Alright, great. So, also, slight confession while we're on the subject. The reason why I'm so violent in my Go is because I essentially learned the game studying these Sedol games. So I'm like completely uncompromising, and I keep fighting until I'm dead. Obviously, he's better at it than I am. So the game starts off with Cho Hyun, who is white in this game, approaching the young Lee Sedol quite aggressively. Lee Sedol backs off, interestingly enough, and Cho Hyun decides to make something on the right side of the board. This is a fairly straightforward sequence. It's hard to... It looks like it might be a little bit complicated, but it's really hard to go wrong here. Because if you don't diagonal out and you decide to do something like a pincer, it doesn't really make sense because then your entire corner gets completely enclosed. So the only options that you really have here as black is to not do that, is to diagonal out or do a 1 space. I mean, these are pretty much your only 2 options that you can really do here. Unless you're completely fine with, as I mentioned, your corner being completely enclosed and you giving like omnidirectional influence to your opponent. So alright, we do diagonal out, sure. We aren't worried about P3 because there's very little pressure, very little pressure being applied to P3. Instead, we take 2 space over here, black puts pressure, and white splits. The split here is a little bit interesting. It seems that white is trying to encourage black to take the upper left enclosure and push him towards the upper right, rather than overextend with a move like L17, leaving huge invasions points behind. So sure enough, that's what we see. This reminds me a bit more of very old Chinese style. Like, I recently went over a game of one of the ancient Chinese masters, and that's kind of what reminds me. Like, we're kind of like getting groups all over the place. We even have the large knights that we saw from way back in the day. Now that I know what I'm looking for, this kind of reminds me of it. This game is about the sides? Very true, very true. Because the corners can still very much be open to invasion. So black approaches. White pincer, black change direction. If we were gonna like continue in the whole Chinese theme, we'd play a large knight here, and then black would pincer, or not pincer, but approach, and then I guess we would I don't even know what we do. 2 space here, I suppose? This would be a horrifically complicated game from this point on. It's like we're just gonna fight over everything. But it could be exciting. It could be exciting. Maybe one day when I'm stronger, I'll have like the courage to actually play a variation like this in my own games. Right now, I think I am far from that. But alright. Black change direction. And we see a pretty easy Joseki. We could play the other way. We could block this way, for example. But this is pretty good for black. This is pretty good for black because white still not completely killed off c6. Still not quite. Still not quite. Plus the bottom is working well because he can easily like put pressure on the stone and expand and stuff. Pretty good. So alright, Lee Sedol blocks this, or wait, no, sorry. So white blocks this way instead, sorry. Connection, drop down. This is interesting. I wouldn't have expected this one, actually. I'm always hesitant to leave this weak point behind. But they are definitely much better than I am. I'd be like, I don't know, I think I want to play something over here and just kind of like defend the things. But white drops down. Black does likewise. And it kind of creates this interesting position here. Because we kind of have to be careful of what happens. Let's not ruin the tree. We kind of have to be careful of what happens back in here. Because the corner is not 100% yet if white gets b7. So alright, we play here, we drop down, lean on the stone. But, this still seems troubling. I'm not sure if I like white's position here. Because I can see that we still have Aji here and here for black to try to hook up the stones, right? And we still have the cut point here. That's Aji for black as well. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I like this variation. What do you guys think? Is this am I being too paranoid? Think this is okay for both sides? Being too paranoid? Okay. Pros are playing it, that's true. That is true. Alright, I'm paranoid then. Lee Sedol, on the other hand, is like, hey, look, a fight. Sweet. No choice. Oh, Gobaduk says it's equally bad for both sides. I guess that would mean it's an equal result then. Okay. So black gets to cut here. White has to cut, because it wouldn't make sense for this to be the strategy. To just like give up 4th line territory in exchange for a few points of nothing in the middle. So the minute we left this cut point behind, we knew we were taking this. Which is good, because this means we're going to be fighting. And if we're fighting, then things might die. And if things might die, then we might have a game for Zombie Go Month. Spoilers. So black jumps out. And now let's test your let's test your reading. What do we do now here as white? What is important? How do we know which stones need to be saved? Which ones do we defend? Which ones do we aid? I even tighten the screws on this chair. We aid the weaker ones. Okay. How do we identify the weaker ones in this case? Merrick says D10. How are you identifying that D10 is the right move to play? Count the liberties. Okay, you could count the liberties. I suppose counting liberties works. I'm looking for something a little bit simpler. Like, even if it wasn't a question of liberties, we could see that Cena can be surrounded in 2 moves. We're getting closer. We're getting closer. We can see that this move already has help to escape, right? It's not just a question of, if I take this move off the... Yeah, I'm not going to risk it. It's not a question of, you know, like, both sides can be surrounded. Like, maybe F5 can, like, surround this, and the top's in trouble, too. We already have the move to escape. But the left-hand side is not so lucky. So, one is already out, the other is at the mercy of whatever these cutting stones want to do. So those are the ones that we kind of want to defend. Because black's not going to be able to, like, just turn around right now and surround off our other stones. And sure enough, Lee Sedol attacks. Now we have a game. And I like that too. I like that too. He's not just going, alright, I'm going to jump out now and hope that's Sente. Because maybe it's not. Maybe white will just like poke here or something and continue his base. Because now, do you have like a very aggressive move to follow up the fact that you jumped out instead of attacked? That seems like a bit of a bad idea. I don't think black would show mercy to the white stones. White wanted D10 to cover pressure to the middle more. White wanted D10 to... Yeah, one, it pressures the middle a bit more, but we also don't want to like just back off and play low. Because then it also helps... It kind of inadvertently helps the black stones, because now we've got like forcing moves here. Here, forcing moves are a little bit in short supply. But it does leave the option of being attacked, because your base is a little bit open. So it's a trade-off. White comes out, black does likewise. Seems like everything is okay again. But once again, I have to ask, we are now in a fight, or a bit of a jumping fight. Which group of stones are the weakest ones now? Because now it actually requires a little bit of reading. Little bit of reading. Which ones are the weakest now? How did you decide the D4 group, Merrick? How did we decide the d4 group? Push at f4 is nasty. Yeah, before it was okay. Before this last move, we were okay. If black had decided not to play here, but to, like, play here, he's not really threatening a whole lot, is he? Because there's, like, no connection here. But if we change this and add that extra stone, you have to read out the idea that maybe you're about to give this really gigantic wall to your opponent. So we are going to defend. Black has to come out again, because we don't want something like this for white, because this would be insane. If you actually get a chance to build something like this for yourself, that's great. So alright, we jump. White jumps out as well, because black's in a position to cap. And the last thing that we want to do is lean on the top group in order to have to live and just, like, forfeit any attempt to invade that later on. Just be like, alright, I guess that territory is yours because I just need to escape. That gives a lot of solid territory to your opponent. Alright, so we jump. Now here's something interesting. I would have considered jumping again, or, like, I'd be considered capping or defending the left-hand side or something. But this move is interesting. This move is very interesting. Like, we're kind of leaning and trying to connect up. I guess we're not very worried about possible territory we're giving to our opponent, because where else is he going to get territory from? The two space extensions? Probably not. So there's no reason to be like, alright, I need Sente so I can invade this. That just makes things more complicated. It's like, no, I'm just going to lean on this. Third line territory, whatever, that's fine. He's going to get territory somewhere. It can be here. But let's just make ourselves nice and strong, and then we can worry about the middle and all of these different groups that white's created. So alright, lean. White makes a one space. Black continues. White takes his territory. Looks like black's getting everything that he wants. So he goes back. Gets to cap. White's now in a little bit of trouble. But he decides to counterattack rather than just run away. Oops. Rather than just, like, run away and defend. Bunch of knights hope they are being paid well. So he goes in here after Mr. Large Knight. White tries to fight back, as we can see here. Black has the L group now, and that whatever this is. This isn't really like a knight. It's, I don't know. Yeah, there are no words for that shape, as far as I'm aware. But he has a very big problem with the connection, so he's got to defend himself. Defend, because we can threaten to capture. Jumps out. And again, I like Black's choice, because a lot of people, when they get in trouble, the first option that they think of is defend myself. Immediately. I don't care if it's Sente, whatever. I'm just going to defend myself. And the just defend myself strategy would be playing a move like here, or here, or here. Like a lot of my students, for example, they get really, really scared when someone's actually trying to fight them. And so they just go on the defensive. Interesting enough to see that in martial arts occasionally, too. Huh. But here, Lee Sedol's first reaction is, alright, I'm under attack. Let's see if I can fix myself with some of my opponent's weak points. So we see this. Defended. Alright, bit of a problem there. Doesn't quite work out, but there's some interesting Aji at G2. Could be potential Seki or something later on. So then it goes, alright, let's see what's over here. White descends, because if we play the other way, this cuts a problem. He's fixed it so this cut can't really do anything, right? We can descend, but who cares? We could play this, but who cares? This just goes all the way over now to this. So again, who cares? So this begets that. Now we can cut and try to kill off 2 stones. White says, are you sure those are dead? Black says, now that I'm fine, are you sure that you're not dead? And now we're getting into delicious complication. Because it would seem that once Black has something that he can try to kill, he really goes after it. So he's trying to go after all the stones immediately. This is why everyone's in love with Lee Sedol. So, alright. Yeah, I don't want to read this. You know what? That's actually not a bad idea. You actually have an interesting point there, Merrick. Sometimes when you don't actually have to respond to this, like you could read all this out and try to figure out like the best local response, or you could just use Aji elsewhere. So alright, here we go with this. Making sure that I is not a real I, it is false for the moment. Connects. Extends, plays the Atari. Can't go to Ko, sorry. F1 would be bad. Connects under. Because 2 liberties only. There's no way you can kill anything here. But Black has a forcing move now. And a forcing move now. And a forcing move now. Let's see, get rid of that. And now a defense. So right now it looks like Black's this is the power of Black's reading. Black is really, really amazing when it comes to reading things out. If there is a way he can kill something, he'll find it. Because this looked like, yeah, like it doesn't work because, you know, we can cut and we can link up underneath. Okay. A lot of people can read that, but then can you read what happens when you do connect them underneath? Like, what about all those forcing moves? What about that impact on the rest of the board? It's like, okay, looks like the 3 stones are in a lot of trouble. White plays the Atari. Black says that's fine. Forcing moves to be sure, but so far it looks like B7 is dead. Threatens to surround. Doesn't even care. Has to connect. Black gets to Atari. About at this point, I'd be considering pressing that resign button with my face. Just as hard as I can, just slam my face into the mouse. I got it. This was a bad idea. Nothing worked out like I wanted it to. But then something surprising happens. Something surprising always happens in these games. Where I thought maybe Black was just going to back off, Black Atari is down. It looks like everything is fine. Looks like everything is fine. Is there... Okay, this is like a complete spoiler because you probably guess what happens. But is there anyone that wouldn't just, like, resign here if you were white? Because you wouldn't resign here? Okay. I'd be tempted to. I would be tempted to. I see that my 3 on the bottom. That didn't go well. I see the left-hand side. Seems like one huge cluster of doom. It's like, well, none of that went like I wanted to. Go Baduk says, meh, I could kill everything. A10 extra lib, it looks like. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. White clamps. Black connects. Gets rid of their liberty. Plays the Atari. Now we start seeing the problem. There's 4 liberties here. There's only 4 liberties here. We drop down. But white plays the Atari. Okay, that's getting problematic. Connect. Can no longer play A9. We have to Atari. Now it's 3-3, but we have to capture an A12, so it's not 3-3. Rukus, I think, said, I'm gonna guess the corner dies. Congratulations, Rukus. Either you've seen this game before, or you have very good instincts. So yeah, it looks like the corner's dead. First time, alright. So what do we do now? What do we do now? It looks like where everything was going so nicely. And to be fair, it looks like this maybe could have avoided if we played here, but then white extends out and ruins our corner. So that's probably not worthwhile doing that either. But yeah, it looked like these stones were all dead. It looks like they were dead. But now they're coming back to life. And they are killing the corner. That is a bit of a bummer. So now that that particular zombie came back and did us in, Black is Lee Sedol. Black decides it's completely fine. It's completely fine, it's completely fine, it's completely fine. I'm just gonna kill everything. It's okay. So he jumps out here because he's threatening this group. And Cho Hyun being a 9-dan, well aware this group's in danger and needs some shape, so he responds. And then Black proceeds to go after everything else. It's like, let's just kill everything on the right side of the board. So, okay. Time to surround. It's like, maybe we can do something if we get enough shape. Defends himself. You can see kind of what Cho Hyun's doing here. If we play elsewhere, You can see that there's leaning here, and there's like forcing here. So I guess Lee Sedol's getting a little bit worried about the middle group. So why not just defend it since the middle's not alive yet? Unfortunately, White's still trying to attack to live, allowing Black to go back and put pressure. And more pressure on his group. Going after every connection, because small knights are a little bit weak to being connected, as we can see here. White group now has to live, so he goes and tries to live. Cho Hun-yun gets another move. That's 2 now, mind you. He got in this move, and it wasn't really responded to. He's getting in this one, it's not really responded to. So Lee Sedol is like, you should really respond to me. Cho Hun-yun said, no, you don't. You're only a 3-dan. Get away from me. You can't kill nothing. I brought my stones back to life, and if you try to kill me, I'll do it again. Forcing move. Forcing move. Go back and respond. This is Black's threat. I like it. He's getting himself a table shape. Right in the middle of everything. It's like, what shape do you guys need to know? Table shape. Here's proof. See? That's all you need to know. White says that's not good enough. Black disagrees because he's now attacking all of the things. He's now after all of the middle groups. White says that's fine, I'll just connect up. Black needs to be careful. He's almost dead. He needs to make sure he has his eyes. Don't forget. Gets cut off. Not looking too good for our plucky hero. Threatens to cut through. That's definitely a forcing move. Threatens to kill off the 2 stones. That's definitely a forcing move. Threatening to kill off 2 stones again, but gives him his eye, so it looks like we're finally alive. But here's the problem. Here's the problem. If Black's alive in the middle now, White needs to shore himself up and be fine. So Black starts by attacking the table. Defends his cutting point. Defends his group. Black tries to escape. White gives chase. Does not allow himself to be cut through. But that means gotta be careful. And 18 now connects everything up. So he bends. Defends himself. Now, I'm a little bit surprised that N18 isn't played instantly. I'm a little bit surprised at that. Instead we see this. I guess forcing life. And we see this. Threatening to cut through. Threatening to cut through. Black threatens to kill. Which I think is a... I think this was just a time Suji. Because after reading, he decides to go back and defend himself. Which is weird. Because like, why would you do that? If this is like a really important move, wouldn't you do that instead of this? I don't know. Maybe I'm not understanding something. But it seems like white really, really needed that move. But now black has it, so white has to live with everything. So I guess white tries to make shape. Takes. You can see where this is going. Connects, or via co rather, so now we can connect multiple ways. Has to live, defends himself, threatens to make white not alive in the entire center of the board. Has to live. Forcing move for co-threat, sure, why not? Looking for eyes. Looking for eyes. Looks like we're alive in the middle of the board. But by now, the damage has already been done. The left side is pretty big. The bottom is really big. And the right is enormous. So I guess we have to try to live there too. And get into, hopefully, life here. Trying to pull a Choyu. I'm not sure what the reference is. What do you mean by that, Rukus? Live everywhere? Is that what you're thinking? Is that what Choyu does? He lives everywhere. Interesting. Maybe I should have looked at his games for Zombie Go Month, if he's good at living everything. Defends, no special moves there. Threatening to cut through at F something or other. F17. Takes. Says that's not forcing. White says yes it is. Or black says yes it is, rather. Retakes. That would make 2 eyes. Now we're in very big co. Let's see, where do we have any other threats? Well, that's a threat. Cut through everything, kill the top, or kill the bottom at least. So that's connected. Atari. That could be the last threat. Offers a peaceful exchange. You take those stones, I'll make my area live. White says no peace will be had today. Black takes. White takes. And then this gets weird. Well, weirder, rather, because I thought the next move would be connecting. But black does not connect. Black does not connect. He's making sure the bottom's dead. I guess he has to, otherwise he's gonna lose the game. That, and right, as Rukus mentioned, I also missed that E9 is actually life. So white plays here. Atari. Go ahead and split. This game goes on longer than I thought it did. Only a little bit longer, I guess. So we connect under now, right? Yeah. Black takes points. White takes corner. Save our stones. For Atari. This, I'm not sure what that was, but afterwards he resigns. White does. So, Black's response to stones coming back to life and killing his corner was to just try to kill everything on the board until victory. I like that. I like that response. If something's trying to come back to life, just try to kill everything else on the board, because there wasn't anything he didn't try to kill. This had to live because he was trying to kill it. This had to live because he was trying to kill it. And this had to live because he was trying to kill it. Everything else, there was nothing in this game that Black did not at one point try to murder. So that's a great response. If something unexpectedly comes back to life, just keep killing things until you're satisfied. And what's really interesting about it is it all lives. The middle lived, the right lives, the top lived. But while you're just running around trying not to die, I guess you just don't make enough points in territory. So that was one game. That was one game where we see Lee Sedol's take on what to do with zombies. But I've had games now where we see how do I word this? Where we see a strong player have to deal with zombies. But one thing that I really have been looking for lately, and one of the reasons why it took me about 150 games to find this, is this next game that I want to go over is a strong player utilizing zombies. I wanted to see like someone I really like watching bring things back to life and just piss off their opponent. So this next example is a little bit weak, I'll admit right now. That's why I opened up with the other one where Lee Sedol just goes crazy and tries to kill everything. But this next game of Lee Sedol's, he's not everything is dead that you might expect. In this game, he is playing in this next game, you might recognize both players. And I'll even go ahead and put the guy's name on the board. Let's see, this one, you should all recognize this guy. Though you might not recognize his rank at the time. Is that how you spell it? Yeah. So in this game, Park is a professional 2-dan. We all know that he's a 9-dan now, but it's kind of fun going back and looking at their early dan games. And this is one of them. So this is where Park was a 2-dan versus Lee Sedol, who was a 3-dan. So very early games. This is also, let's see, from 2001. So these are like back before a lot of you were even playing Go, I guess. But again, Lee Sedol is black, and Park is white. So white opens up, inviting diagonal. Black's like, yeah, okay, I'll do diagonal. And immediately we have a fight. We have a fight from Park. Okay. Black says again, I prioritize the corner. And once again, white picks a fight. Now, there's a lot of ways you can respond to this. I mean, it's almost endless. I mean, if you want, you can go pincer. If you want, you can, like, approach. You can respond. It's It is endless. I admit I'm a little bit surprised that he chose for the right side. I wouldn't have expected that, but okay, whatever. Bit of an older Joseki we see here. Probably not going to see it that often nowadays. In fact, I'll be surprised if anyone's even played this in the last month or so in any of their games. It's a bit weird giving up the 2 stones here. Usually what we see when we see the attachment is our opponent playing this and then potentially just going for territory. Or not territory, influence. We're usually okay with this because we also have this later on. Because we can just give up the cutting stones, get us more solid wall here as black. Don't usually see this. This is a bit rare. This is definitely a bit rare. So alright, we take, throw in. I think I want to say, I'm not even sure there's Joseki anymore. How does this go? Do we take and then Atari and then jump, or do we jump now? Yeah, I'm not even certain how this is supposed to go. I do know that we don't usually leave off right here, but white takes Sente to put pressure on this area that clearly black's interested in. And because white played away, and because it's Lee Sedol, obviously he then responds by putting pressure on the group that's not completely alive yet. So he has to come out. I love this move, threatening to cut through. Has to take. Black threatens to surround, and it looks like black's getting a very nice result here. And this group of whites is kind of struggling to not be surrounded right now. Takes. Atari. Has to give up. Does not take but connects. Have to keep pushing out. I mean, it doesn't look like this is a really great result for white. Black, on the other hand, slowly developing the bottom. And as white has to put pressure on everything, slowly develops the right-hand side. Bends rather than Hane. Threatens to cut through, so we defend that. And this is now a really nice result for black. Now, normally we would want to consider play an extra move here, but if we do not defend, if we do not defend our investment in the lower left-hand corner, then why did we let ourselves be punched around on the right-hand side? That wouldn't make any sense. If we play this, for example, and our opponent gets to play something like this, I don't even know what you do here at this point. It's like I think you just get wrecked. I think you just get wrecked. So white takes this investment. Black gets to keep pushing. Have to make it out to the center. And amateurs might want to take note of this, where you could keep putting pressure on this white group. Notice this white group is already out now. So you can't really keep attacking from below or above, because this group is pretty well out. It's hard to surround it. It's hard to keep imagining how you're threatening to surround this group. Whereas, back here, it really is not hard to imagine that at all. I mean, we can just play some kind of net on this group and it's in trouble. But here, not so much. Where was it? No. Here, not. Yeah, no. There we go. Here, not so much. So black takes his profit. White also takes his profit. 4 stones for 1 corner, but he has some influence. Black plays high for influence. We know he's going to play high for influence because he's interested in both the top side as well as pressuring this middle group that's still not completely alive yet. So we're more interested in influence and territory as a result. So we're going to approach high rather than low. Expand off of the influence with a pincer. Okay. Don't ever play this move, people. I must say, don't do this. This is the most complicated variation you're going to find in any of your games. It invites the most complicated variation you're ever going to find in your games. Now, white backs off here, but I want to show you why you should not ever play this. If you play this, this is a standard sequence to resolve this corner, where suddenly there are 4 groups all in need of life. So, bad news. Bad news. White plays here instead, suffice it to say, rather than doing any kind of magic sword variations. Now the result of this is black is forced to crawl. And crawl. And crawl. And crawl. And crawl. What do you think? Good variation for black? Anybody like this? I would cry. Okay. There is some benefits to this. I mean, white has to be careful. If we just play here, we have to make certain that we're not just gonna drop dead in the corner. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 liberties now? Yeah? So, can we play this way and not die? Is it possible? White defends. Black says, that's fine, I don't mind crawling because I'm really attacking. White creates a cut point. Defends. Have to be careful. Forcing moves. Painful moves. Sente, no. Sente, there we go. Get rid of the eye. Create all of the cut points in the world. White cuts, looking after F14. But black doesn't back off, and he's after the middle as well. Now there's a lot of reading going on here. Because clearly, if white cuts now, he's kind of dead. So we get to play here. Black plays the Atari, we're still okay. Atari the 2 stones, we're okay again. Threatening to kill off the 3 stones. And you can see White's aim. White's aim to get all this strength in the middle so he can attack the left-hand side. That seems to be the goal. And you'll also notice that so far nothing has really died yet, but don't worry, that's coming up. Black defends the... what line are we on? 4, 5, 6, 7th line potential territory. That's a good line to defend. That's a really good line to defend. Taking this for himself is amazing. But though it's weird, isn't it? Isn't it a little bit strange? Because last I checked, this was running on the second line, right? Running on the second line, net 7th line territory? I need to start running on the 7th line a lot, or the second line a lot more, I think. I think the problem with my Go is I just don't run on a second line enough. Clearly. But the cut points are just too much. Too much. Grant... oh, that's right. That's a good point, yeah. If second line gives 7th, maybe you're right, Merrick. Maybe the first line will give 9th. That's a good point. Someone should try that out and get back to us and let us know how it works. Alright, so we're trying to take all that territory for ourselves. White does a probe. Black says no. So it's now White's duty to kill the left-hand side. Because if the left hand lives, after giving all that away, that's ridiculous. So, okay. White plays diagonal because it's nice and strong and pokes out the shapes. White probes. It's not second line, it's 19th line. Okay. 18th line. Okay, technically that's correct. It's technically the 18th line, I suppose. So, alright, he has to kill this. That's not the move. That's the move. Just gotta kill everything. Just gotta kill everything. Just gotta kill everything. Okay, everything did not in fact die. Though, I was frightened for White for Black when he played this rather than the solid eye shape. But he's really good at reading. I don't think I would have even considered the Hane. I would have been like, alright, yep, I'm alive now. I'm happy. Or maybe even just play here. But he took his time to realize, yeah, I can Hane. And if I play here, it's fine. I'll just lose all my eyes. It's okay. Because if I lose all my eyes, all I'll do is just try to kill the top of the group, the top of the board. That's fine. You can see what's coming. It's just a ko for the top of the board. That's it. That's fine. Yeah, living is never enough, is it? Living is never enough for Lee Sedol. He's got to go try to kill something. But we still don't have dead stones. Dead stones we have right now on the board, I will point out, are these 3. These are the 3 dead stones, and keep in mind, this is Zombie Go month, okay? These are the only dead stones right now on the board, and it's Zombie Go month. So you should be kind of wondering right now where the zombies are. Because I mentioned that Lee Sedol is the one who is the master of the undead in this particular game. D3 looks zombie-ish? Okay, D3 is... okay, yeah, D3 is pretty dead too. But that's a stone. There were games where like 1 stone came back to life, but I didn't qualify that as a good enough game for zombie month. I needed to have... because I mean that's just a probe, right? I needed like a group dead. I needed more than 1 stone. That was my qualification for this. Alright, so we try to kill off the right-hand side. Fix shape. Fix shape. Go back to Co. Threatening to kill off the middle. Make sure that can't happen, and go back to Co. Threaten the group. Come back to life in the corner. Go back to Co. Kill off the 3 stones. That comes back to life. Nope, guess not. Zombies are only effective in hordes. Exactly, exactly. Bit of a long Co here. Keep everything dead. That's big. That would be big. Bottom left-hand corner is now pretty well dead now, I have to say. Back to Co. Pretty big as well. Now this is where things get interesting. White's going after the middle. Black tries to keep pressure on everything as we fight this wonderfully terrific Co. And go out into the center. And poke at the group that's not alive yet. Fix this shape. Threatening to kill off the entire lower right-hand corner now. Alright, now we're getting somewhere. Now we can poke all the things. You can see Black is now actively trying to kill the white group. No, no, not rip yet. Not rip yet. It isn't a threat, it's a promise. Yeah, okay. So right now it looks like White's in a lot of trouble, right? It looks like White's in a lot of trouble. But there's silver lining, because White has a lot of liberties and at least one eye. So White figures it's okay as long as I can cut something off, there's no way Black can kill me. And if Black can't kill me, the left is pretty nice, the lower left-hand corner is pretty nice. The stones in the middle, we've got 5 stones dead there, that's pretty nice. It's got a really good chance of getting something done here. So time to get something done. Looks like getting something done here is not going to work because that's alive. So he connects on out. His goal now is to kill the middle group. That middle group needs to die. If that group dies, he's completely fine. Huge game, huge game. So we look after our weak points first. M1 is now Sente. M1 Sente. He starts attacking Black's shape because we can't get into a capture race with a group that has how many liberties out of the air? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. With about 11 liberties. Don't have that at all. It's hard to get that many liberties. So, alright. And yeah, okay. Yeah, that's true too. And technically it's also more than 11 liberties because in order to actually take away 2 and 3, we need to take out this and have here too. So there's a ton of liberties here. There's a ton of liberties. The idea that White can kill off the Blacks on the outside, not unrealistic. Not unrealistic at all. So, alright, we need to try to live here. Let's kill off your eyes. Extends out. Threatens to kill through. It may seem risky, but Lee Sedol is Lee Sedol. True. One eye down. Now it might be Seki. Now it might be Seki. Going after again, trying to kill everything. It's getting kind of scary for white, or for black rather. I mean, he's losing liberties fast. I mean, he's like a clump of stones there at L9. However, this is an amazing move. This is an amazing move because of the dead stones that are on the board. If it wasn't for those dead stones, white would actually have a chance to win, to actually do this. He might actually be able to make this happen. But those dead stones come back to life. He pushes through, and right now it doesn't work. We could easily get Seki. But we play the Hane. Now, why does this Hane matter so much? Because if black gets this, then the white stones on top of the board are dead because that's not an actual eye yet. Right? So we have to kill this. Which means black gets to connect, Sente. White has to kill that, right? Now we've protected against shenanigans. Has to kill that. And now we're dead. Those four stones in the middle are totally dead. Because we can't Atari our way to freedom anymore. And the reason we can't is because those stupid stones just came back to life and friggin' killed us. Without those stones that were dead, then this game would have continued and the struggle would have resumed. With white having so many liberties, so many liberties. But those stones, I did not know that Lee Sedol could raise the dead, but apparently he was able to. And just like the games we saw previously, came back and killed his opponent with the dead stones. Amazing reading by Lee Sedol, I will admit. No. These stones were part of the dead. Admittedly, some zombies were killed throughout the game. Half of the horde did die, but it was for the greater good. On Halloween, they will remember their fallen comrades and go out and eat little trick-or-treaters. But, yeah. Crazy game. So, needless to say, white didn't play all that out. He played to here, and then resigned the game. Went a little bit long today, hope you don't mind. Next week will be the last in Zombie Go Month. I will be doing something special in December. I have two options for December. I haven't quite made up my mind which one I'm going to do yet. We'll see other announcements. My next taping of Sitting Down with Dwyrin with a professional, I'm not sure if I revealed who it's going to be yet, so I'm not going to do so. Suffice to say, I expect that to be taped in about, recorded rather. Why am I saying taped? That's going to be recorded in about 2 weeks, I think. Yeah, 2 weeks. Once they're done with the real life stuff they have going on. So we'll have another professional, and then after that, I might have someone special come on. I am still crossing my fingers to see if they're interested. But we'll be having an amateur after our next taping. So episode 3 will feature another professional, Episode 4, I want to be an amateur. Other than that, I will see you guys next time. Hope you guys are enjoying Zombie Go Month. I know you guys will enjoy December as well. And I will see you next time. Take care, everyone.